Hey there, Skrelv Army. Today we're talking about Skrelv, Defector Mite, which bears a very similar resemblance to another card, Mother of Runes. You can join the Skrelv Army by subscribing. Alright, so we're talking about this new Mother of Runes style card. So both of these are 1-drop 1/1s. So we've got that going on. Our little Mite friend has Toxic 1 and he can't block, which, that's really not what we're playing this guy for. He is a legendary, which is a bit more different. But I guess everything's a legendary now, but still that's good as well. He's an artifact as well, so I'm actually kind of thinking about putting this in an artifact deck as well. So that's another thing to consider, but it is a very low investment artifact. So we can choose a color, target creature you control gains Toxic 1 and Hexproof from that color until end of turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn. So it basically gains protection from a color more or less. So that is what it does. It does a lot of the same things as Mother of Runes. And, well, Mother of Runes has been sort of a semi-staple of the formats, you know, Pioneer and Modern and Legacy and whatnot and all of that. And even been in Commander as well. Not a huge impact in Commander as what it is in other formats, but still well used in the formats. So I do think that this could be a very good card, and it's taken me quite a while to actually stumble upon this sort of thing, because there's also Giver of Runes, so that's out there, and that kind of does a lot of the same sort of stuff that Mother of Runes does, but they sort of toned it to a more modern framing of a lot of things. So having another Mother of Runes style of an effect out there in the format is a thing that, you know, is starting to, you know, gain momentum, I guess, because now there's basically 3 Mother of Runes style of effects out there in the format that you can play. You can play Mum, you can play Skivers here, and you can play Giver of Runes. So yeah, there is a bit to choose from. Obviously, as I said, this is an artifact. So if you have artifact synergies, well, this might go well in that. Even I'm thinking as a card that, you know, it's a creature as well as an artifact. So if you kind of want both creatures and artifacts, it's quite good there too. And that is one thing that I do find with a lot of artifact decks, is that they don't have enough ways to win outside of their combo. Now, yes, this can protect your combos and whatnot, but once you have no available other real ways to win outside of your combo, you're left with all these sort of very mediocre 1/1s for 1 or 2/1s for 1 or whatever it is and whatnot. This sort of thing, or 2/2s for 2 and whatnot, and all of this other stuff. Like, yes, they do stuff and they give you value and they're quite powerful, but they're not going to win the game anytime soon on their own. So the fact that this has Toxic and the fact that it can give Toxic and whatnot is a smaller window, so at least you don't have to go, well, now I need to do 40 damage to one opponent, and then I need to do it to another opponent. You know, I'm on a 40-turn clock just for one person. Well, now at least I'm on a 10-turn clock for one person, or whatnot, or, you know, this sort of thing. So at least I can find something, or, you know, whatnot. I can find one of my more medium creatures, hopefully, and I can give it Toxic, even though it'll only Toxic them for 1, but still, you know, we'll wait and see. Like, if it has Double Strike, then, yeah, you might start looking a little bit better. But still, at least you can find that other win condition in the Toxic, which is one thing that I do like about it, because it gives you another out, essentially, when your deck doesn't have a whole lot going on, and hopefully you won't get into that position. But so many times I find that a lot of decks that do rely on this sort of strategy do fall apart, and then they go, well, now what? Like type thing. But that does happen to all decks, but, it's especially bad for decks that are like that. You have no plan B, well, now what? So that's why I always like having plan B, C, D, E, and F, and etc. in my decks, is because it's like, well, I know plan A is not going to work, or plan B is probably not going to work, so I just hope that I can get to whatever plan does work eventually. So, but yes, this can certainly help you with getting those other plans off the road as well, and just protecting some of your other stuff as well, even if it's not really like doing anything, like, or the other creature's not really doing anything this turn. Somebody just goes to kill your commander or swords your commander or whatever. Well, I'll just give it protection from white, So now at least it doesn't get swords or whatever. Perhaps they can, path it or whatever in response or whatever. But still, it's one of those things that you're making people have to use up their resources again in ways that perhaps they wouldn't want to. And essentially, you're giving them another hoop to jump through. They've got to have two answers for your one thing to really get that one thing off the board. And then, hey, if it was your commander or whatnot, hey, well, now it's just back a turn or two later. So it didn't really do that much to your game plan for the most part, so you're not too affected. But anyway, I do think that this is a stellar card. I'm sad that I didn't really get to it earlier, but it was just one of those things that there's a lot from this set that is to be looked at and whatnot, so it is hard to cover absolutely everything. But now I'm glad that we have covered this and talked about it a bit. There are a few other cards that are from the set that are quite good, and you guys can even let me know which cards you perhaps want to see me discuss here in videos and whatnot. I don't know how much time I'm actually going to be able to dedicate to videos since I'm going back to school. I even said this, and I want to say it here quickly in one of these videos, that I won't be able to dedicate a whole lot of time to videos during this period while I'm going back to school and whatnot. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing. So I'm only going to be able to do a few videos here and there when sets come out, or when people are really in demand of something or whatnot, or I actually squeeze the time somewhere, or make like the videos that I do make here part of my school projects or whatever. So that will be a big thing, but I will try to keep the content coming as much as I can. But again, I did want to say it in a video because I know a lot of people don't look at the Facebook or look at the Patreon, so I did want to say it somewhere here in one of these videos. But anyway, you guys can let me know what you think about this card, or let me know what decks you want to see me build. And yes, again, you could build this with your commander, but I would think that this is much better in the 99 of a lot more decks. So plus, again, monocolor, so I'm not ever hot on monocolor decks. But again, if you guys really do want to see the Mite commander, which I don't know what you can kind of do with it to find a way to win, unless you're like going down the infect route, because again, how else could you win with this thing? Unless you're just like, it's a secret commander that you suddenly give Toxic 1-2, but I still don't know how that's going to work, unless you're going to give a double strike, and even then, I don't know. Actually, you need basically quadruple strike or something for it to really start working, unless you're going to be in red or whatnot to get Kedis or whatnot so that you can hit each opponent. But yeah, still, you can let me know all your thoughts, write them down there in the comments below, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one.